Hey landlords, the city of Detroit is proposing new rental inspection rules that we all need to know about. And they just did a webinar and I listened to it and I took notes, and I'm going to give you a summary of what I learned. So in this video, I'm going to give you my theory about why this came about. We're going to talk about how they're changing the inspection, the number of things that they're inspecting, about removing possibly sort of the lead paint requirement that we now have, about a new fee structure, and about putting liens on unpaid tickets, and their new escrow program, and how we are to advertise our rentals. And then finally, I'm going to give you my theory of what they should be doing. So before we get into it, I'll tell you who I am. I am Monique Burns. I am a landlord. My husband and I have our own buy and hold properties. We have also renovated 300 plus houses in the city of Detroit. We are of the small percentage of people who actually do keep our houses in compliance. I am interested in following the rules and doing the right thing. We sell our houses that we renovate to investors from all over the country and all over the world. So we've brought a lot of good tax dollars to Detroit, besides our own tax dollars. And I am on the board of Real Estate Investors Association of Oakland, and my role is education. And I also have an online course for people to navigate how to do the stuff that we do in Detroit, mostly if you want to self-manage. I help get you through this process that I'm going to talk about in this video, and the water department and Section 8 and all the things that come up that you wouldn't know if you're not from Detroit. So if you are interested in my course, check below. If you would like to buy one of our renovated properties, set up a time with me on Calendly so that we can talk about that. We're only selling to cash investors right now. So let me get into what BSEED is rolling out. So BSEED is I think it's Building Safety, Environmental Engineering Department, I don't know. But they're the ones that give us the certificate of compliance. We call it the C of C here in Detroit. So this is the rumor. You could call it a conspiracy theory of what's going on here. I don't know. So supposedly the federal government has all kinds of funds that they give to cities that have some high percentage of their rental properties in compliance. And city council finds this out and they're like, oh, how are we going to get these landlords in Detroit in compliance? And they said, well, what's their biggest rub? Well, the biggest rub is how much it costs, because we all have to get this $500 lead paint inspection. So they said, what if we get rid of that? Because, you know, everywhere else you can just kind of do an inspection and look to see if there's chip paint, and then they don't have to get it unless maybe there is chip paint. Let's do that, and then it's less money for the landlords. We'll get more of them in compliance. And these landlords who have not gotten in compliance, let's give them even more fines so that it's even riskier for them to not be in compliance, because that'll get them to start getting in compliance. And they presented it to BSEED and said, now BSEED, the people that give you this certificate of compliance, we want you to go tell all the landlords about this. So they did a webinar, and I was one of the people on the webinar, and I took all kinds of notes, and I have a lot of questions. Unfortunately, I couldn't get a hold of anyone at BSEED. I've been trying the last 2 days. So I'm just gonna lay it all out here, what I understood from the video and my conclusion from it all. So one of the big changes that they were really excited about is, instead of this 37-point inspection, they are going to bring it down to a 15-point inspection. And if you want to know what's in that 15-point, I did a screenshot during the webinar of what the 15 things are they're going to inspect. Go below, you'll find a link to my blog, and you can see the screenshot there and more details about what I'm talking about in this video. I did call the inspector that does the most inspections in the whole city of Detroit. I got a hold of him. And he said, I don't know where they ever got this 37-point inspection thing. He said his inspection list is 1,500 things. Hold on a second. If you are enjoying this video, it is so helpful to me if you like it and subscribe, and if you share it, and if you comment. It helps the algorithm and it keeps me motivated to keep making you more videos. Thank you so much. And I have seen him inspect because I spent an entire day with him preparing material for my online course, and I made videos of the way that he inspected and what he's looking for so people in the city of Detroit can be in compliance. And it's a lot of stuff, but it all is very much safety things and all seemed quite fair to me, honestly. So that's one of the things that they were saying is just a 15 point. Now this is where it gets really confusing and complicated, and I wish I could have talked to them. They want to get rid of that $500 lead paint test. Now the inspector I talked to, Jamie Fry from Detroit Inspection Group, he explained this to me, and I hope I get this right. If I'm saying this wrong, do the comments below and correct me. I'm okay with that. But he was saying that it's called LIRA, Lead Inspection Risk Assessment. So you can't have one without the other. So it's like LIRA. So you have to have all four, or it's not a real test. Like, it doesn't mean anything. And I'm really glossing over this. And he said they tried this in Grand Rapids, Michigan and in Flint, Michigan, and they got shut down because it wasn't a true lead test. And in the video, in the webinar, they said that they would do a dust swipe. And I thought, well, that's strange, because I'll talk to you more about the fees. They're trying to take the fees down from $195 to $150. Because if they do a dust swipe, doesn't that mean that they have to send it in? And doesn't that mean that the person doing the dust swipe has to have all the licensure to even do that? And when I was talking to Jamie, he was saying that it's really cost prohibitive for the inspectors to also get all that other licensure, and they would have to have different kinds of insurance. They have to have safety equipment, tubes, they have to send it off to a lab. That costs money. It doesn't even add up, you know. And if a lead inspector only does half of the lead inspection, just that alone part, I guess they have done that. He was saying that's just $250 by itself. And then a lead inspector charges like between $450 and $500 for the whole thing. So how is it you're doing this 15-point inspection as well as throwing in the lead there? And it's not, you know, you can't just walk into a house and say, oh, it's lead safe. You don't really know that. And one of the things that landlords will do is when they do have the lead inspection, the kind that we're getting now, is they'll put rocks or mulch or grass right up to the house and no dirt. And that way, I guess it's harder for the lead inspector to find lead dust, but that's something that you shouldn't do on purpose to trick an inspector, because there could be lead dust. And if there's a child there, you don't want the child to be infected with lead. And I'm not for having this $500 test. It is cost prohibitive, but it does make my husband and I feel good when we have had that test, because, you know, like if anything happened, we could be like, no, we had this house lead tested. Another thing they said in the video about the lead testing is that if there is a child that is considered with lead poisoning in the house, you know, that already has the poisoning, and then they move into your house, that the landlord does have to get the whole $450 or $500 LIRA test. But I don't, they didn't really offer details of like, how do I know? And like, do we put that on our application? Hey, does your kid have this problem? It kind of sounds like a fair housing violation to me. Like, I don't, you know, I guess you find out once they're there, then you find out you have to get the lead test, but we're doing it for our houses that don't have Section 8. We're doing that anyway. The Section 8 houses, what they're doing is kind of matching what Section 8 does, but Section 8 doesn't do a wipe test. But when I have a house that has a Section 8 tenant in it, I don't have to do the city test and the lead test. The city is good with the Section 8 inspector's test. And so apparently this 15-point test is supposed to be more like what Section 8 does, I guess. I don't know. It was a little confusing. Hold on. This video is getting way too long, and I just don't want to lose your attention. So I am going to break it up right here. And in the next video, I'm going to go into the fee structure. They're super excited about the escrow, how they want us to advertise, and about my idea that I think would work better. I wish they had asked me. I wish they had called Jamie Fry, who does all these inspections. I wish they had consulted with a lead inspector to find out, will $150 work for what they really want? I think everybody had great ideas, and hopefully all this kind of comes out at that meeting. But stay tuned. So a week from today, I will put out the next video. Thank you so much for watching.